Someone's personality can not only affect their well-being, but it also really shapes their lives. Here to tell us more is Erica Kosal, a professor of biology, also an author. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
So obviously someone's personality really defines them, but you say it can be a deciding factor when it comes to personal success. How's that?
Absolutely. Well, I think one key factor is called ego resilience. And this is a personality trait that you're born with, and it can relate to what's called situational resilience, which is how you deal with adversity and hardships later in life. And so they're positively correlated. And I think probably something really great is that you can learn how to become more resilient. And so even though a lot of genetics play into personality, you can still have some influence on those personality traits.
And Erica, I'm assuming a person's happiness plays into that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's sort of amazing the more and more research that's being done about happiness. Yeah. Again, there's that genetic component involved, but that also you can do something about it, and it influences your health, right? So it can influence your immune system. It can influence your lifespan. It can influence cortisol levels, which again can do all kinds of either great things or awful things in your body, depending upon your levels.
And Erica, you lost your husband, you're raising a young daughter by yourself, certainly not easy things to deal with. How did your personality change through that process?
Well, I'm not sure it changed. It certainly, I think when you're faced with any sort of major crisis, as I was, the core personality sort of comes out, it shines, you sort of hone your skills, and you're reminded of the sort of internal power that you have that maybe you ignored. And I think probably one of the big things that I learned through my ordeal was that there was more control. You know, a lot of times events happen and people will become almost victims to it, like, woe is me and I can't do anything about it. And they sort of forget that there is this internal human spirit that you can harness. And even though we might all have slightly different personality traits, you can still use the good traits that you have and really, again, sort of develop them, bring them to light, and help get you through those hard times.
And talking about those good personality traits, is there a way to kind of foster them into our children?
Absolutely. And absolutely. And I think that's the thing that's great is when you see something positive in your children, or even when you see something negative happening around you, to sort of point out those circumstances in an age-appropriate way. So, for example, we would have people who would come over to our house to bring us, meals, or to help with, dropping off kids to practices or something like that, because we were trying to keep their lives as, kind of normal as we could. And when people would do that, I would just simply point out, hey, isn't it really nice that Mrs. Ward is doing that, because she's got her own son and her own family, and it's really nice. And so my kids, I do actually have a son and a daughter, and they would both sort of look at me at the time, because they were, 4 and 2. But then I would again say, what is it about Mrs. Ward that you think she can do that? And they would, of course, say things like, she is so nice, she is so pretty. And and then you just sort of say, well, do you think you could be nice like that to people? And just sort of have that conversation with them to remind them that they, again, have the power to decide what to do with any sort of circumstance. And again, that personality can be shaped over time.
Sure, that's good advice, Erica. And where can we find your new book that's coming out, and the title of it?
Okay, well, my new book is coming out in a few months. It's called While You Were Dying, and it will be available at Amazon.com. And the current book that I have out is called Miracles for Daddy. And both of those you can find more about at my website, which is bounceToResilience.com.
Very good. Well, Erica, thanks for spending time with us here on CT Style this morning. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sure.